Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly, and we are back with Season 19, Episode 21. This is Season 19, Part B? What are we calling it?
It's the mid-season premiere.
That feels weird.
Okay, but that's what it is.
There is so much more to go.
So much, and it depends on who you ask, I guess. Is it 8 episodes, 9 episodes, 14 episodes with the tell-alls, 9 episodes, then a tell-all?
Buckle up.
I don't know.
We're going to be here for a while. We're excited to be back, though.
Yeah, this is going to be good. It's nice that we didn't have to block off an entire day and a half to do this review. A little bit easier to fit into the schedule now, since there's less extracurricular activities that need to take place beforehand, like we had with the rehash during the break.
Yeah, for those of you who may be joining us after taking a short hiatus, you may want to go back and listen to what we were doing while the show was on a break, because
we were on our own little hiatus as well.
We had a little fun. Very polarizing.
Love it or hate it, it happened. But now we're back, regular scheduled programming.
This is the land of milk and honey.
The TLC description for this one is, with Christine's help, Janelle moves her life from Flagstaff to North Carolina and sees the land that she purchased sight unseen. Meri questions her entire relationship with Robyn. Kody prepares to baptize Aurora into a new church.
What did you think about the episode?
I'll tell you what I was impressed with. The sepia tone flashbacks, which Sister Wives is known for its fair share of sepia tone flashbacks. I will give credit where credit is due. They did a good job with them this episode. Do you know why they did a good job with them this episode? They limited that.
Because they were actually old things from other seasons?
Well, so they showed old footage, but the commentary that was underneath was new takes on it. So they were referencing back to those things just to show and provide an illustration for the commentary that was being provided, the new commentary.
But didn't make us listen to the old audio? Have they been doing that? Thing.
Yes. Normally when they do a sepia tone flashback, they play the clip. We don't need to see the clip in its entirety, start to finish.
Why do they love to do that, but they don't do that at tell-alls?
That is the confusing part. So hopefully
you
they
love
saved
a receipt.
Maybe they saved them all up, and then they're going to do them for the tell-all. I'm not sure. Can't say with absolute certainty. But I will say the reason why this didn't feel like a clip show collection of flashbacks, because there were several, but it doesn't feel like that because there was new information to contextualize what was going on in the older footage. Well done. We're off to a good start. I'll say that.
They're making small improvements every season. We're only on almost to season 20.
Almost to 20.
Speaking of tell-alls, guys, if you missed Tamron Hall's interview with Meri, you need to go back and watch that.
That was from last week. Yeah, that was a good one. Last Wednesday, I think. It's on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
You could Google it.
Just Google Meri Brown Tamron Hall. It should come up.
Don't get confused by the flashbacks to when Tamron Hall was hosting the tell-alls, though.
Which she's not allowed to do anymore.
By specific request from a few cast members. And it wasn't Meri, and it wasn't Janelle, and it wasn't Christine. Process of elimination. I don't know who that leaves.
I'm excited to read my rewrite because we don't do this over on Surviving Reality.
I forgot about the rewrite, actually.
And I wasn't doing them for the rehash, so I feel like it's been a long time. The creative juices were flowing.
Okay. All right, yeah, let's hear it.
Meri's resignation from My Sister Wives closet is rejected. Christine and David workshop Janelle's farmers-only dating profile. Rora gets dunked. Kody and Robyn come out as soulmates.
It was only a matter of time. I think it's a little delayed. It's one of those conversations where they are telling us, hey, we're soulmates. And then we're all saying, yeah, we know. We've
also heard you say it before.
For a long time. You guys have been talking about it since 2010. And then you wanted to deny it for 15 years. And now you're going to talk about it again? Okay. Weird way to go, but sure. We'll entertain it.
They're trying really, really hard to convince us that all the toxicity and issues in the family were isolated to everyone else. It didn't have anything to do with them. And now that everyone's gone, look at our perfect, functional, God-fearing family.
We have been cleansed of the curses on this family. They are now in North Carolina and Utah, the least friendly state in the union for polygamists.
Before we jump in, we got to talk about the big news, which is that Coyote Pass has sold.
And we're going to be talking about Coyote Pass a couple of different times here on the episode. It just really saps a lot of the drama out of this season. There's not much drama to begin with. So then when we are just completely undercutting that right before the mid-season premiere of, hey, they sold the land, so any conversation that happens about Coyote Pass doesn't really matter anyway.
It takes them so long to actually show us. This is what they were trying to conquer this season, was to actually catch up to current day. And yet they have still had the storyline fall behind to the point that it's making what we're going to see kind of irrelevant.
Anyone who said current day, and I asked, whose current day? Which current day are you talking about? Are you talking about the day that the episodes premiere? Because then guess what? You're still a year behind by the time all this stuff finishes airing. This season is going to be 30 episodes long. We're still going to be a year behind. That's the problem.
Maybe there are some things we don't need to see, like the recounting of Rora's baptism.
Can I tell you how upset I am that we didn't even get footage of this to make fun of? We just had to go with AI-generated stock photo B-roll of insert denomination Christian worship.
Hands in the air.
Praise him, praise be. And that was what we got. It was a retelling of two of the worst storytellers in television history trying to recount this play by play and getting their hot takes every second of the way.
Well, let's get this pony in the water because we're already we're going on a rant.
The Rora's in the water, so we got to get the pony in the water.
It's true.
It was
also in a little trough.
A trough bucket, yeah, to splash around in.
The big things this episode, Janelle's moving to North Carolina. Meri is at her house. They keep showing that as the lower third, and I think Meri would disagree.
But it's like Devon Devoyne from Teen Mom, where it's just, I tried to correct it early on. Nobody really listened, and so we're just kind of rolling with it.
You want to pick up on this road trip?
Well, there's not much to do.
Let's just skip ahead. We're in progress.
Yeah, there's not much to do. It's a long drive, so we're just
gonna dwell on the past.
Let's talk shit. Okay, if we're gonna be stuck in the car for this long, we got to talk about some juicy stuff.
It was very interesting.
It was good. Yeah, this was good conversation.
Thank God Christine continues to tell us stuff, because otherwise it would have been really dry.
Because then Janelle chimes in. It's like Christine stirs stuff up, and then Janelle will kind of confirm it, but then she's usually just like, but I don't really give a shit. It's kind of like...
That's the summary of any time she gets asked anything about Kody and Robyn now.
The punctuation point, I don't really care. That's their stuff to deal with now. It doesn't really matter to me anymore.
Meri's still a little bitter, though. And then Christine. Would you call it bitterness? I think it's just immaturity on her end.
I don't know why she insists on talking so much about her previous marriage with David so much.
Well, I guess David kind of gets it, because that was the whole point of this. How they got on the conversation was the fact that David has experienced polygamy within his own family from his sister living plural marriage. And so he witnessed things like them arguing over who got the better stereo, which then spirals into the whole topic of keeping score within plural marriage.
Well, that awakens a whole bunch of things within Christine, and not in the way that usually things are being awakened in Christine and David's relationship. Because then she was like, well, I need more information to know. Because David's like, oh, they're fighting over a stereo. Who cares? And Christine's like, I might need a little bit more information to know.
Do you have the make, the model number?
Whose side I should be on for that, because I've been there and can confirm it's important. This is important.
She's been standing in Robyn's kitchen before, staring at her silverware, thinking, this is a lot nicer than the shit I've got back home.
She opened her Tupperware cabinet and it came pouring out on top of her. And it is hard to deny the make and model numbers when you're buried in them.
It cracked me up when Christine was talking about how she felt like she got the scraps. She got the scraps of Kody's time. She got the scraps of, I guess, whatever resources were available. Since we know scraps was a big term thrown around in this family, especially in the later seasons.
Usually in reference to Kody's assessment of what Robyn gets, but I think that was always a stretch because Robyn getting scraps when she's getting first dibs, primary care, everything else that's going on, most of the time, attention, energy, and effort, doesn't seem fair to say that those are scraps. I don't think it is. Maybe in Kody's mind, because that's all he has left to give, because the OG3 really put him through his paces. He was always on the outs with somebody.
He would give more to Robyn if he could.
He has nothing else to give. He only has scraps. That's all that's left of Kody, and he's giving all of that to Robyn. Is that what's confusing Robyn now, too? Is where she's not sure why she's not getting more out of Kody now that the 3 other wives are gone? She's expecting more from him, and he isn't able to provide that?
Maybe it's that she's lost the comparison point, so she doesn't know anymore. Am I doing better than other people?
She has no capability of gratitude at all?
I think she would definitely disagree with you on that.
Seriously?
You don't think she gratitude journals in her junk journal?
I don't think so, because I think it's mostly just tons and tons of vision boarding for how to get more stuff. It's just more things. I need more. And she doesn't appreciate anything that she actually has, I would argue.
The other new piece of information is that Kody cared a lot about how the wives looked.
Oh, the makeup, the camping trip makeup.
I got to tell you, the first thing I thought about was the commitment celebration dress fiasco.
Oh, I got to tell you that the first thing I thought about was when they started showing flashbacks to the 4th of July rebellion episode, and I realized that we came dangerously close to rehashing that during the break. And
that was almost last week's episode.
If we had, then that would have been the 4th of July rebellion was a big flashback one. And then this land is your land or hers, which we did a rehash recap of during the break. So we would have been 2 for 2 on the flashbacks.
Came very, very close.
It was close.
That is the infamous camping trip that the family went on, where Hunter was very upset that Robyn and Meri were spending so long doing their makeup. And now we know why.
Because Robyn was pregnant? That was the reason that she gave?
She doesn't even address it. This is what's annoying about Robyn. There's an accusation made, and then she instead deflects and talks about how she was 6 months pregnant and she spent the whole night vomiting. That's all she seems to remember from the trip.
She spent most of the trip on her hands and knees. That's what she recalls. By her recollection. That was where...
That's Kody's recollection, too.
He remembers the 9 and he remembers the 6.
He cares a lot about appearances.
The scary part for me was when Meri was recalling, yes, I remember appearances were a very big thing for Kody. He would take me out when we first started dating. He would buy outfits that were appropriate for me to wear, to be seen in public with him. But I never felt any pressure.
Maybe this is why he is Robyn's soulmate, because it's like she's a doll, where he picks out clothes for her to wear.
You think that Kody is picking out Robyn's Kohl's collection?
Maybe that is why she is so committed to the polyester floral blouse.
I thought that was just a filming thing, where it's an easy thing where you just buy 15 different and brands of them, or not even brands, just like prints to go with, where you could just grab them. Whatever, and it works.
It's white noise to those of us watching.
It's fine. And then that works, and you just have an entire closet full of them. That
you have to worry about continuity.
Work through. Yeah, you don't have to worry about all those pesky little details. I don't think Kody has picked any clothes for anybody to wear in quite some time. Nothing that can be worn in public, perhaps.
How much purple lingerie do you think Robyn owns?
I don't want to think about it.
Well, back at the Meri B&B.
Because it's not Meri's house. It's a house that Meri happens to own that's in her family.
That she kind of inhabits? I don't know. Jen already seems annoyed with her.
It seems like it's paid off now, and so it's less of a business. It is more of just a house, but I don't think Meri wants to admit that it's a house, because then you would be validating every concern that everyone had when she was going to purchase the house, that Meri, this is just your escape route out of the family. And she cannot let that happen.
The way I cackled when the first thing Jen brought up was we got another email from that guy about how he hasn't gotten his jewelry from my sister wife's closet.
That's still a thing? Why are you still letting this happen?
We knew that, though. You can still make purchases through the website, even though I don't know, can you say it's shut down when there's just a pop-up that says that the shop's closed?
Shop's closed, but you could still make purchases if you work your way around. We'll
still accept your credit card information.
Yeah. If you're going to send me payment for it, then yes, I will receive that payment.
We need the person this happened to emerge. Tell us the full details. Did you ever get the item that you purchased? Did you get a refund?
I think it was Ace. We should check with Ace first, because how many dudes are buying jewelry from my sister wife's closet? We know that
wasn't their target demo.
Based on their Shark Tank presentation, their target demographic was women who be working and women be shopping. So that was the basis of their presentation.
So I guess this is the interaction that Meri has had with Robyn since she left. She's just taking screenshots of these emails because they can't get anyone related to my sister wives closet to respond. So they've resorted to going to, I guess, either Meri's socials or something with Lizzie's heritage in and emailing, asking them, hey, I know that at one point you were somewhat part of this business. Can you get me to the right person so that I can get my fucking jewelry?
See, Meri made it abundantly clear, again, as part of that Shark Tank presentation, customer service is her top priority. So that's been made abundantly clear. And this is why Robyn didn't want to let Meri go. She couldn't have Meri step back from the business because then nobody answers the emails. She doesn't know how to respond to an email.
I would be so mortified if I had a business that was defunct and somebody made a purchase and now they were like, hey, it never got fulfilled. Can I get a refund? What's going on? No, she's not at all pressed about having to get back. She's not panini pressed, as Gypsy would say.
At all.
About getting back to this person. I hope they left a 1-star review. Robyn mentioned that it's only on hold. The business is on hold.
It's temporarily.
How do you restart my sister wife's closet as a monogamous?
Because she needs to acquire some sister wives before she can reboot the brand now. Unless you just rebrand. Yeah, what is it? It's just my closet now? Just my closet. Me and Kody's closet.
Robyn's dolly closet. Just sell doll clothes. Do something you're passionate about. We don't even see her talk about jewelry anymore.
Someone needs to buy all of those domain names that we just threw out just to be safe.
Cover your bases.
Yes, you have to be careful. You have to be sure.
This kind of springboards us, though, into a discussion about Meri and Robyn's relationship. Did it ever really exist?
Because it's not great right now. Obviously, it's very business oriented, and they're kind of keeping things very much on what needs to be said at any given time. And even that is kind of falling by the wayside. Robyn's treating it like Meri's personal texts when she would try to plan something and get together. She would just ghost her for a couple of months. Not really getting back to that. I've been very busy lately. Haven't gotten around to it.
I guess the good thing is it's not out of the norm. She can't be any more upset with you than she was before because this is exactly how she acted before you left the family.
Because I think that's the difference, too, between Meri's take on their relationship and Robyn's take on their relationship. Where that divide started, Meri is planting it back into COVID of saying there were plenty of times where I was not traveling at all during that first year of COVID, wasn't traveling, wasn't interacting with anybody. It was just me alone at my house, which has a big backyard space and a huge playground for children to play on. And I would offer the invite for Robyn and her kids to come over, and they would never take me up on it.
Jen tried to point out that it goes back even further than that, though, because when you moved into that house, Robyn acted all excited about the playground and the backyard and implied that she was going to come over and bring the kids often. And it happened maybe twice the entire time you lived there.
Meri's starting to put the pieces together that it wasn't a COVID thing, because then that's still being used as the excuse for, oh, that's why we didn't come to your house. Well, Meri lived there for 2 years prior to COVID. and you still didn't come over to the house, and that still wasn't something that was utilized. So the excuses just kind of move and shift depending on anything that's brought up. There's always a reason that's given, but it keeps changing. And so it's like, well, maybe that's not it. Then you can't take her at her word now for what those reasons are. The one that upset me, though, was with the COVID stuff. When Robyn's talking about, I had 5 kids at home. It was really difficult. They were all doing school online, and I had them at home. Does Meri not have Wi-Fi? I thought we established that. Truly was very adamant about figuring out where the Wi-Fi signal was.
She was not going to move to Flagstaff if it did not have good Wi-Fi signal.
She was told that Coyote Pass did not have Wi-Fi, and she had no interest in moving there. So she needed to make sure that wherever she was going, she has high-speed internet. It's a good thing to double check.
If you're going to complain about how hard it was to be home with all the kids for that long a period of time, literally to Meri's point, why didn't you have some of them go to Meri's house and play in the backyard to get a little bit of a break?
It doesn't need to be everybody, even if it was just the younger kids.
Send the feral ones.
Yeah, the ones who stay up all night.
If they don't come back, maybe you don't miss them that much.
That's all right. Yeah, thin the herd.
Or the older kids. I could see it being very hard to focus on your work when you have 2 little kids running around the house. Maybe they could have used a very quiet home to go study at.
Empty, void of human interaction. You would not have any disturbances here unless you count just Meri's thoughts, if those kind of overlap. If you're
intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, they are all empaths, so they're very energy sensitive, I'm sure. When Meri's just staring out a window like Jack Torrance in The Shining.
Robyn disagrees that that's even where the problem started. She's trying to say, well, it was all good until Meri moved.
That was interesting.
And then Meri got weird with me.
That's the distinction point that Robyn has placed on it. As soon as Meri moved to Parowan full-time, the Utah move, that's where the problem is with our relationship. Everything was fine before that, according to Robyn.
Does Robyn have friends who are out listening to conversations? Because she has gotten word that Meri was out with friends making fun of her and her junk journal. Or did she just see that on TV? Because I feel like all of the information that Robyn gets about the other wives comes from the film crew.
Well, this hadn't aired yet when she saw that. So this reaction...
But they get asked to react to clips.
Yeah, so it could have been the stuff with Jen and Meri that we're seeing where Jen was throwing shade at that wonderful gift that you were given, and there was mocking that was going on. So if that's what they were showing Robyn as part of that scene for her to react, that could track with that, because I don't know how else this would be getting back to her aside from the Brown family rumor mill.
I don't know. She was upset with that. I want to know her reaction to people finding the Etsy account that she purchased the junk journal from and seeing how much money she was spending.
Well, I think that all came out
I know it was
later.
way after,
yeah,
but
way
I need
after.
a reaction from her on that.
Maybe at the tell-all. Maybe it'll come up.
Because
I highly doubt it.
Jen's not wrong. First of all, it was fugly. Second,
it's terrible.
It was very performative. She doesn't even believe that Robyn would have bothered to have showed up if Kody hadn't been there to help her move.
And Robyn didn't help move. She didn't come over to assist with any of this.
It would have been too
part of
hurtful
it.
for her.
Yeah, it's too much for her.
Because again, her feelings have to come before everyone else's needs. But we'll never admit that that's the truth.
We can't address that directly.
I guess Meri is willing to have a relationship with her, but it would take an honest conversation. And Robyn doesn't take criticism very well.
I think Meri's realizing that they're at an impossible scenario now, because there was, as part of that move, I think that was the distinctive point for Robyn, was when Meri told her, I don't know how to be friends with my ex-husband's wife, which was an honest thing for Meri to express to Robyn at that point. Robyn took it very personally. She got angry about it. She got upset about it, and then didn't address it, didn't talk about it after that. She just took it as a permanent rejection and left it at that, which I don't think it was. I think for the time, Meri was saying, I don't know how to navigate this situation that we found ourselves in, because I don't know how to just go hang out with you or go have a meal or talk with you about other things that are not these huge things that have happened in our lives.
It's so weird because it makes it feel as if Robyn has an issue with people taking a step back to get some space, because she had the same problem with Christine when Christine left and said something similar. And she took it very personally that this was a complete rejection of her forever.
It was about her kids, where Christine said, that's not something I'm willing to do or like prepared to do at this time, was the big part of that phrase, was at this time.
But she's also not a person who really cares about getting together with them. Her actions don't show that she would actually want to continue a friendship with them afterwards.
Yeah, and she misses out on that part where it's like, well, for now, currently in the situation where we find ourselves, I'm not ready to have that sort of interaction. That doesn't mean never. That doesn't mean that I am cutting off contact with you and don't want to ever speak to you ever again or anything like that, which, I mean, I'm sure it's kind of shifted into that now a little bit more. But it was based on the reaction of, if you are taking things that way and you're not understanding what's being said in this conversation that's happening, it's a difficult conversation to begin with, to say, hey, I'm not really prepared to give you what you need right now, but will you respect that? Clearly the answer is no.
Doesn't it make you wonder if Robyn is more focused on not having people out there who have a problem with her, that she doesn't like knowing that there are people who are potentially upset with her, or that it could be because she doesn't want them to talk shit about her?
I think it makes Robyn uncomfortable knowing that people are upset with her, and she doesn't know what to do with
Which
that.
is a personal problem.
That is a personal problem, though. So that's the issue that we're facing, is that now when people are presenting things to Robyn and saying, hey, currently, the way we find ourselves, we can't do things normally. And that's all Robyn wants. She wants normal at the expense of everything else. Doesn't matter what's going on, how anybody else feels. Just pretend like everything's fine, but don't actually address anything.
The most upsetting thing to me was that Meri still wants to have a relationship with Robyn's kids, which was her whole problem with Christine, that Christine, she thought, didn't want to have a relationship with DABSARK. Meri is expressing that she wants to still be in the kids' lives.
And is upset that she hasn't been part of the kids' lives for
That's kind of the
past
crux
7
of
years,
the issue, right?
Since they moved to Flagstaff, and then it's blamed on COVID, but we had about 2 years, a year and a half prior to COVID where it was still rejected.
I just have to call bullshit on Kody and Robyn and how much they told us that the kids were having such a hard time with the family falling apart, and it's been really rough for them because they don't have, their siblings and the other moms around. This is someone who is saying, I would like to continue to have a relationship with you, and you're not allowing them to do that.
So this was a weird part where, is Robyn seeing this as, well, Meri's not the entire family. Most of the other family would be Christine and Janelle, because they have a lot of the other children who are siblings as part of that. So why would I maintain a relationship with Meri? Is it all or nothing for Robyn in her mind?
I just feel like it's really cruel coming from someone who offered to be a surrogate for Meri, because she knows that Meri not having other children is a big devastating part of her life, and she became close to your kids, and now you don't want to facilitate that relationship anymore.
Oh, and Robyn took a good couple of minutes this episode to make sure to pat herself on the back for being Meri's biggest advocate when people were scheming against her and not talking to her, and she was Meri's only friend for several years.
Plotting against her? I want to know more about that. We better get in a question from Suki at the tell-all. What do you mean?
What plots were there? And what was she involved in? Because there have been assumptions and rumors that have spread about Robyn planting the catfish into Meri's life. That seems like some plotting and scheming, allegedly.
I guess Janelle and Christine were very busy trying to destroy Meri's life for many years in the cul-de-sac.
I think it was Kody was talking a lot of shit about Meri to Robyn, so she knew things aren't so good for Meri right now. She usually had a pretty good read on that.
Shall we go to North Carolina? We got a lot of work to do. I can't do it.
It's going to be a whole lot of work. Janelle is soft launching an accent for us, and she's just slowly trying to work it in, but it's mostly on, it's going to be a lot of. Gonna be a lot of work.
There were multiple instances this episode where she had a strange drawl happening.
She's trying it on. Yeah, she's working through it, and she's going to give this a shot. Is this something that's believable? Is this something that people can relate to?
I don't want to skip over that as she's explaining the fact that she's moving to North Carolina. This is permanent. She does not have a place there anymore back in Flagstaff. The only thing tying her is this fucking land and the fact that Gabe and Savannah are still there. I don't want to skip over it because very obviously that confessional was filmed after Garrison passing away.
Which is yet to be addressed on the show, but it will be part of this back half of season 19. So we're still waiting for the official response of that. We were kind of speculating too, they might be pulling a lot of this Coyote Pass storyline stuff up in front. They might front load the back half of this season with Coyote Pass stuff.
Everyone gets very upset when there's timeline manipulation on this show, but I am expecting that the last chunk of episodes is going to have quite a bit of that.
They're still going to have like a year and a half of footage. I don't know how they're going to be able to doctor that or make it look like it's part of this same conversation that's going on, because it's going to spread out over another like year and a half in terms of actual filming.
What, the Coyote Pass conversation?
Yeah, how are they going to jumble all that together to make it look like it's happening?
They're not going to rush us through it. We're going to get a whole nother half a season before they get anywhere on Coyote Pass.
To string that along, yeah, there's not going to be, what other storylines are you going to do? We've already burned through the Aurora church footage.
Maybe she'll get a suitor.
Oh, yeah, it's probably going to be dating, because they were talking about dating as part of the soulmate conversation.
Or she'll get another hole pierced.
Oh, I think we're good.
Christine is going to have Christine filing for custody of Truly.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Child support, that has to be addressed. There's a lot. Trust, there will be another season with plenty to talk about.
Oh, I'm not doubting another season. I'm saying if they're going to jumble around the latter half of season 19 here, if they're going to try and pull things up ahead, it's going to be strange to see just the amount of time that is addressed in those storylines that they're trying to pull ahead. I don't know how you're going to be able to do that.
I am kind of worried that everyone is going to think that they're just not going to talk about Garrison because we're going to see things that we knew happened after Garrison passed away.
Right.
Before they ever address it on the show.
Which technically they've already started with that, because even with the Kody and Robyn a couple episodes ago in season 19 when they were painting the picnic tables, that happened the summer after.
I'm just trusting that they've done what they've done very intentionally so they can very respectfully talk about what happened.
We'll see how it plays out. We'll keep an eye on it.
This was a very small part of the episode, but we can't skip over it because David's friend from the wedding.
Oh, no.
He has shown up in North Carolina to greet everyone because David's in town. He helped Janelle moved. Moved? Is that part of the new accent?
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of work. This dude has changed his appearance, though. He grew a full beard because I think he's trying to get away.
He had to after that.
He's trying to create
after
some
the lap
distance.
dance?
Yeah, he wasn't.
How brave to come back on this show after having done that.
Brave? You're going to give him credit for this? That's a big stretch.
I would have been like, let me know when the cameras are gone, and I'll stop by and drop off my cooler, whatever the fuck he brought, the bison. I would have liked the blackberries.
Was it blackberries?
Oh,
blackberries. Okay. Those don't really strike me as things that go together.
Maybe that inspired Maddie for the name of the farm.
Well, they were trying to do triple B, but I don't know what those 3 Bs would have been.
What? I guess brown, brush, and what?
Brown, brush, and bats.
And then what was it? Poppy and pine?
That sounds like a blog from 2008.
It does. It's a 2011 blog.
Yeah. So that's not going to work. Not as a business, Poppy and Pine. Or it sounds like a scented candle company.
Are you going to grow poppy flowers? That's going to start a whole nother rumor.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Stuff that they're growing here. Because then Caleb's suggesting names like Hippie Paradise, which Maddie is very quick to point out that sounds like a strain of something. They're talking about growing flower.
Look, they would make a lot of money if that is indeed what they decided to do.
Christine has to debunk it right away, but that doesn't mean that we're going to stop speculating on it.
My sister wife's stash.
Oh, see, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Everyone has their own strain.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is such a good idea. This would work in a lot of different ways. I still don't know how the cut flower business is going to happen. Like, are they going to be the florist, or are they just going to be supplying other florists? Because then you're going to need to cut these flowers at a massive scale and transport them to florists?
Look, we need to see a business plan like they demanded of Meri when she bought the B&B, because I'm kind of unclear too. I believe it sounds like they're going to supply local florists with flowers, but then also it's going to be a cut flower farm for people to come to, and you can cut your flowers yourself.
That part I get. The part that made me nervous was Janelle was kind of talking, and I think David was saying, well, maybe David doesn't fully understand either. I know I don't. But they were talking about...
David only knows drywall. Flowers, it's a whole new world for him.
That is, yeah, it's a lot to work through. They were talking about it, though, like they would have a shop here as part of this. So it's like, what, are you going to be doing floral arrangements? Is that something that you're prepared to do? Janelle and Maddie?
You better get working on that.
That's a whole other skill set.
Where are all the flowers? Are there even flowers in their homes? If you're going to own a cut flower farm, I would expect that your home is full of fresh vases of flowers.
I expect your name to be Lily Bloom. And you need to embody flowers as a person.
Wear your florals, bring your friends.
You know, it's just, that's naturally how this goes.
Janelle almost hooked up with a guy at the bar, according to David and Christine. Like, it could have happened. It was in the cards. But Janelle's just too picky.
Yeah, she's got standards now.
Well, she only looks at men like pieces of meat.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing all that bison here, too, by the way. This was a whole point of contention for me, because Kody was defending his six-pack abs, nice pecs and six-pack abs.
No, now he has buns of steel.
Okay, so this was the problem. Christine started jokingly referring to nice pecs and rock-hard abs. So that is how she described it. And then Kody was saying, I never said these things. I don't believe this. And that wasn't the point of that. I have washboard abs. I never said rock hard. There's nothing rock hard about me. Wait.
He probably spent 45 minutes talking that back with
the difference between washboard abs versus rock hard abs.
Oh, I meant the nether regions.
Oh, other rock hard stuff.
Convincing everyone that everything still works perfectly fine.
Rock hard for a while here. So that bothered me because then he was trying to say washboard abs now and walk that back.
How insane is it that Maddie is the only person who saw this property? They bought it and they haven't seen it. I don't think she's seen all of it, though, because it's like 150 acres.
I don't think anybody's seen it all. 150 acres. You walked the land? Did you do that? Yeah, because they're going to go drive out. Nobody can.
There is a black bear amidst.
It's not your land. You're going to have to evict some local tenants there first. Mostly the black bears.
Isn't that kind of sad? So this place used to be a timber farm, which is why there's so many trees on it. And they're going to cut a lot of them down and displace the wildlife so that they can attempt to have this flower farm. And their homes are going to be on the property as well.
Is it even land that you can grow flowers for the type of flower? Does it have the soil, the nutrients? Does it have all these things that it needs?
Does it have soil is a good place to start, because it might not.
We don't know. We're taking everything for granted at this point. And I really don't want to, but I only have more and more questions as this arises.
Maddie, I just feel like an informational interview with someone else who owns a farm. A flower farm in particular would have been better, but just somebody who knows what it's like to own that much acreage and clear it would have been a good place to start.
And here's the problem. We've been blaming Janelle. We said, Janelle, girl, how could you get yourself mixed up in this sort of scenario? Turns out the answer is Maddie. Maddie was running with this. She was unsupervised.
She's a doer. She's going.
She's out there going and doing.
Unlike Kody.
Kody Brown is a talker. He's incapable of doing. But now we're seeing, well, Maddie, maybe it's beneficial to talk to some people before you do the doing.
There's a happy medium we need to get to.
I think, yeah, if Maddie is all do and Kody is all talk, we need some people in the middle who do a little of both and can accomplish something.
This place is it even a road? It's a place that vehicles have driven over enough times that it now is a path through the trees.
Janelle would call those ruts. We got ruts.
They all go out to see this property, including Christine and David.
You can't see it all.
No, they just stop and just look around at the trees surrounding them on both sides.
Oh, sorry, I left my jetpack at home, so I'm not going to be able to get a bird's eye view of this place.
The bats are getting a good view, though.
Yeah, they can report back to you in pips and squeaks to let you know how it's looking. Not good.
Caleb is so excited. He starts climbing through the brush.
Well, that's kind of in his nature, is it not?
Just in his DNA.
Caleb Brush.
This is my nightmare. So many sticks.
Sticks and ticks.
Sticks and ticks.
Carly's not here for it.
Cross it off the list.
Carly doesn't want to be a part of that. And probably Chichen Itza sweats in the summer. Well, no, you got plenty of trees. You got some canopy cover.
For now, they're going to get rid of them.
Yeah, you're going to have to clear it out.
Out there, they're going to be baking in the sun.
I'll tell you what I was uncomfortable with. Children just walking up to adults with handfuls of bones. Not something that I would put on the top of my list for things to do for the day.
They were just like, that's nice.
Wow, you found some black bear bones? I hope they're black bear bones. I don't know.
What if this was a dumping ground for a serial killer?
Yeah, we just watched, what was that, the Long Island serial killer guy? There was the whole thing on Netflix, that ogre that was killing people in Long Island. That was how he was described, because it's people in Long Island trying to give a description.
It was spot on, though.
It was accurate.
When they found him, he was like, did I not say that's exactly what he would look like?
That's the guy. Yeah, like, if you had to police sketch artist that, Shrek as an architect, that's who was killing people.
I already hate this place. It's horrifying. Let me know when all the flowers are pretty and I can look at them, because that's maybe when I'll have an interest in coming back.
David might have to go toe-to-toe with Kody in some chainsaw wars. Maybe that would have to... Are they going to duel out with chainsaws?
That is how they can clear the land for a lot cheaper.
David's talking about he can do some damage with a chainsaw, and we know Kody can do some damage with a chainsaw.
Make it a pay-per-view. We'll watch it. Do pay-per-views exist anymore?
Not usually, no. Not for the most part.
Christine's not wrong, though. We do need to get Janelle.
A lumberjack?
A landscaper, a lumberjack,
I think
a farmer.
She needs to start with a lumberjack and then work her way to a landscaper.
Good idea. You don't have to find your soulmate. You just need someone to stick around long enough for you to get to the next phase of building things out on the property.
Of development. Yeah, the next stage of development. Your relationship development, the land development.
Personal development. She needs to learn from somebody who has done this before.
But we all know Janelle can't learn anything when it comes to PowerPoint, especially. So this is going to be a challenge.
I'm feeling really conflicted that we're at the point where we need to talk about Rora's baptism.
Oh, it's the tism. So, yeah, this is going to be a whole thing for me, because I don't know why they didn't film it. And then you're leaving it to two people who are just absolutely terrible at telling stories, but love to be center of attention, and they know it.
Why are we having it come from them and not Aurora, who is the one who experienced it?
It's a great question.
Did we hear her talk about anything other than the fact that she felt lighter afterwards?
Which that could have just been from an increase in fiber. You might be feeling better. Yeah, you had a good movement.
Did you see the full carrots at Josephine's?
Of course.
Ari was unloading them off her plate.
Of course we were at Josephine's, but we were out of the attic and we were out on the patio.
Who knew there was an outdoor dining space?
Maybe it's all new because we kept ripping on the attic and they were like, hey, that's not all we have to offer. You need to film out on the patio. I would just like to point out, too, another one of those freaky Destiny moments where we kind of spoke something into existence. When the photos first leaked of this family meal, this family gathering that was happening, and nobody knew what it was about, and there were just photos of them at Josephine's or walking around town with the bows and the hair.
Dressed up.
Yes, strangely dressed up, and nobody knew what the significance of that was. And we said it looked like they're going to Easter dinner, and then now it's airing on Easter. They're having this meal. This is just weird.
We also had the rehash, and the show came back on 420.
It's all these things that are just lining up. We're not involved in production, I swear to God.
We're just a little prophetic somehow.
Only with this, though. So, like, this is where it all begins and ends with the abilities that we have, the seer abilities in a traitor sense.
Is there anything you want to talk about with the actual baptism? It was a pretty run-of-the-mill mega church type baptism.
Kody got to throw in some misogynistic opinions and viewpoints there, reminding us that their church, only the dudes do the baptizing, so...
It's very progressive at this place. Women are allowed to baptize women.
You think he got weirded out? He had to jump in the trough after them? Was he in the trough? No, he was next to.
He was outside of it.
Yeah.
He's already been baptized twice.
Oh, right, because the first one didn't take. I would argue maybe we should have held him down a little bit longer. A couple of minutes.
Make sure he really got fully submerged.
Yeah.
Well, this was a big day, but let's talk about the future. Or maybe not, because this might be the biggest day of your life. What could rival the day that you got baptized and made Kody a proud father?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he's confusing it with moments where he's feeling proud and he's feeling good about this. So he's going to the next thing that would be related to that. Maybe I would put this on par, not with like a wedding, maybe like a college graduation or something. It is like a phase of life thing, but not like a huge...
Some people might say this was the biggest turning point in their lives.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I'm just trying to throw it out there.
No,
you know?
Yeah, but I'm just saying personally, for me, like, I think from that level, I was worried that Kody was dancing around. He was going to say wedding night, and I was like, oh, dear God, please don't say wedding night. No. So he said wedding vows.
Brianna, though.
Oh, we know where Brianna.
Always in the gutter.
Yeah, we know where she's
like,
at.
I'm pretty sure that her wedding night is going to be the thing that tops this.
By a mile.
She had the most Robyn-like monologue that I have ever seen one of these children deliver, and they are carbon copies of her, but this was truly disturbing.
It was all Robyn sarcasm throughout the whole delivery, because, oh no, we would never marry a soulmate.
We'd be fools to not marry our soulmates when you're our parents.
Very condescending. I didn't like it. I didn't like the tone. Robyn was laughing the whole time. She thought it was hilarious.
It was just like she was watching herself.
It's like looking in the mirror.
Which gets us to the soulmates. Your own children have observed this and placed this label on your relationship.
But also because you've been told. They've been told. You told them. You told everybody. You told us on TV that Kody was your soulmate, Robyn. And while Kody never said it back, his actions certainly confirmed that for us over the past 15 years.
The backlash that she got from having said he was her soulmate, was that from the internet? Was that from the OG3? I kind of feel like it was from the wives. Like, I don't think that played very well with Christine. We did get Janelle's take on it. She was pretty shitty, but also, again,
don't really care.
I don't really care anymore.
I'm not invested in this anymore.
Can you just maybe not even ask me questions about them?
Can we just sell the land? Can we sell Coyote Pass? Please, focus.
Maybe that's what she should do. Just refuse to answer any more confessional questions about Kody and Robyn and your past relationship with them unless they sign over the land to you or sell it.
Maybe that's why we were able to get confessional footage now. It happened, finally. This was weird because Kody was taking it as...
complete flattery of how amazing of a man he was.
And he was taking it personally as everyone else was upset with me because that compliment made me feel good. That was why everybody got upset. Like, that was his interpretation of what was so upsetting to everyone. Not the favoritism, not the blatant disregard to everyone else's feelings in that. No.
And the fact that Robyn knew that that was a wrong thing to say in the world of polygamy.
Because to play dumb, Robyn tries to say, well, I never lived polygamy before, and so I didn't know that was such a touchy subject of favoritism and jealousy and soulmates. And Janelle's like, that's bullshit. Because she grew up in polygamy. What do you mean? You felt the effect of that all the time because your mom was not a favored mother, not a favored wife.
Well, and it'd be different if the other wives all felt that they were Kody's soulmate as well. Or if you were to say, I feel like I'm another one of your soulmates. But that's not how it was delivered.
She didn't word it that way.
No.
No, this put them into a different category where now it's an elevated status, and that was what it was. So it started off as that emotional level, and then it eventually became the legal stuff. And that was why Janelle was nervous about the whole legal divorce and legally marrying Robyn as part of that. I feel like I would have worked out a deal where if you're going to legally do that, then you need to legally marry me next, and then you need to legally marry Christine after that.
Create a timeline.
Yeah.
Of when you're going to divorce Robyn and marry the next one of us.
Yes, because it needs to go in order then if you're going to do that. Because now you have 2 of 4 wives who have had legal marriages, so that's just going to be very complicated.
That's actually related to how Tamron Hall got fired.
Asking a little bit too much about
legitimizing one relationship over the others.
Legal divorce process that was going on and the thought that was behind it.
Even if Robyn then realized the error of her ways, it doesn't really matter if you guys use the word or not when everyone around saw that that is how your relationship was with each other. This is exactly the problem that all of the kids and the other wives have had, is that they saw that their mothers did not get treated or have a similar relationship like you have with Robyn. And you denied that that was the case. But now you're here bragging to us about how amazing your relationship is.
It doesn't seem like they're aware of that, though. Where, like, Meri is actively trying to avoid, I can't say that I live in this house, because then that looks like everything that everybody assumed about me was right. And that was the whole purpose of me buying this house, was to escape the family. And she's really trying to avoid committing to that because it doesn't look great. Kody and Robyn are just completely oblivious to it, where they're like,
I think
this is great.
A twist of the narrative where they are trying to show us that there has been nothing wrong with them the whole time. They are not the toxic ones. They are not the dysfunctional ones. It was everyone else around them and their bullshit. But at least that's what they've convinced themselves of, is going to make them look good.
And for now, yeah, because then they do kind of mention there's been a rough patch in their relationship, but it was because Kody was dealing with 3 divorces at the same time, and then he was being mean to Robyn as a result of that. And that was the issue that she had. But now there's this lurking suspicion in Kody's mind that he's not good enough of a husband to be worthy of Robyn as a monogamous man now.
Wow. Maybe we should think about that and break that down a little bit more. So you're telling me that it is hurtful when you're in a marriage with someone to feel like you are not worthy of their love, affection, time, resources, whatever it may be.
But he's giving her the keys to the kingdom here. And when it comes to that, he's going to do whatever it takes to convince Robyn that he is worth it.
He is one of the OG3 now.
Not that he'll make that connection. He doesn't want to. No, it's just they've sapped him of his confidence. They stole his mojo, much like when he was stealing Christine's mojo.
Your mom mojo.
When they first moved to
Flagstaff. Trying to move into the big house.
Trying to, get the designs for Biggie Housey underway.
Well, I know you had a lot of feelings about Kody declaring how proud he is of Aurora for having made this choice.
The toast at the end of that meal together, when he was vocalizing how proud he was of Aurora, not that she's doing what he would do, but that she's found her own way. That's what he's proud of. And I wondered if that was true, because clearly that's not the case. Like, I think the reason that Kody is proud is because she is doing a lot of the things that he has told her to do. Find God. Go with God, bro.
And she did.
And she did. So it wasn't the exact same formula that he had of living polygamy and going through all that, but obviously he can't really recommend that as a process now either. Didn't go so great. Wouldn't recommend. I just don't know why he isn't able to have that conversation or that toast. Why can't that sentiment be directed to someone like Gabe? You found your own way.
Because he's disobedient.
That, I think that's it. And like, that's what it's coming down to, is like, he's rewarding this as, you've listened to me. You did what I said, even though it wasn't the exact thing that I said, but it was close enough where I can give you credit for that. And then love and affection. Here you go. So the rewarding of that was the part that really threw me for a loop.
It reminded you that there is, in fact, a lot of toxicity coming from Kody Wynn Brown.
Yeah, it's rooted in all of that, because that's very easily another conversation that you could find that sort of pride in your other children and have that same conversation. But those are people that you are completely cut off from now.
Next episode, Christine is excited to spend her first monogamous Valentine's Day with David. Meri and Janelle meet at Coyote Pass to discuss a strategy moving forward. Robyn and Kody discuss not being polygamists anymore, and Kody expresses his disappointment in plural marriage. Hasn't that been...
That's the entire show. That's been the whole show, and now we're just hitting repeat because we don't know what else to address at this point.
I guess they have more to say about it. Before we go, we do have a few announcements. We are going to be guesting on Browntown with We Love to Hate Everything today, Monday, April 21st at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So check out their YouTube channel for that.
It's harder to say YouTube. So the fact that you were able to say that at speed, full speed.
Impressive.
Yeah, that's something.
Also over on the Patreon, the Discord watch parties are back on Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. We are all pulling up the most recent episode of Sister Wives, hitting play together and chatting about it. So you can join the Patreon for more information about that. And the tiers are on sale, 50% off through the end of this month. Also, we have another podcast called Surviving Reality, where we are currently recapping every moment of Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup Season 2.
Rod finally made an appearance. It's a big deal.
And we are going to be recapping Poly Family over on Surviving Reality as soon as that starts on April 29th. So if you're looking for more polygamy content, we are here delivering for you. Also, footnote, this always happens when we say we will talk about something throughout the episode and then we get sidetracked. The sale of Coyote Pass. We did a very in-depth analysis of that over on our Patreon.
A deep dive breakdown. It was part of our live stream where we really ran some numbers on a few different things. Mostly on the profit breakdown for each person who was involved. Alleged profit, I guess? Estimated, and now we're getting dangerously close. Basically, we're whittling down and chipping away the more things that we consider as a hard cost that was related to this land. There wasn't a lot of money to be taken out of it.
It's not looking good, guys. It's pretty much a wash.
At best, if not a loss at this point, in terms of the initial investment and what they've dumped into it over the past few years.
The time and energy and stress of dealing with this for all of these years.
You could have done several other investments that would have been way more profitable in the long run.
What did we just figure out before that? Meri and Janelle, after we account for all the other stuff that we didn't initially, like property tax and probably what this rusted cistern roughly cost.
Yeah, maybe
it was probably like $7,000 that they made.
Yeah, maybe like $10,000.
It's like they held on to
over 7 years.
So a little over $1,000 a year of holding on to that property for like 7 years.
Where you risked over $100,000 of your profit from your house sale in Vegas. Just different comparison points of where that money went and some of the different ways that they probably could have more wisely placed that elsewhere.
But if you're interested in seeing all the numbers and the full breakdown and knowing more about how the mathed,
go check it out. It's on the April live stream.
Thanks for listening. See you next time.